Some businesses succeed, some don't. Then there are those that seem to have been around forever. The true entrepreneurial success story. How did they do it? What was their vision? What makes a success? In this special episode for Eye on Annapolis, we speak with the true success stories, those business owners that have been around for decades, learn from their successes and failures. Now, here's host John Fernay.
We're down here on a busy Dock Street Friday morning with Ryan Lamy, who is the owner of, I don't know whether you want to call it a restaurant, but man, damn, one of my favorite places to come in Annapolis, Pip's Dock Street Dogs, right down here. We're waiting for the food truck to back up, and he's everybody's getting ready to provision downtown for the weekend. Another busy weekend in September. We've got a Navy football game coming up, and we just wanted, we noticed on Facebook that you're celebrating 10 years.
Yes,
and this is. I don't want to say it's amazing. It's one of my favorite places to go, and I just wanted to talk to you about, for our Legacy Business Series, about Pips, where it came from, and how you're doing and everything else. So, where did it all start from?
It started when I was in the Coast Guard. I was in the Coast Guard from 91 to 96. Just like everybody else that joins the Coast Guard, you want to jump out of helicopters and rescue, save lives, that kind of thing. Right. But You got the hot dog duty, or well, yeah. They to go to aviation school was quite a long wait, so they were trying to give cash incentives to go to another school, and they when you offer a 19-year-old kid $3,000 to say, hey, do you have any other interests? And cooking was always a hobby of mine, stemming from my mom. She's like old school, very good cook. I said, yeah, you know what, I think about going to the cooking school. So that's what I did. Got to go out to California, went to cooking school out there. We got to take classes in downtown San Fran, and then also at the Coast Guard base in Petaluma. Did that for a few months, came back, was a ship's cook.
So you actually did culinary school?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And then I took some classes at the culinary school up in Baltimore also.
Very cool. Well,
yeah.
Okay, so the Coast Guard, I'm assuming, didn't set you up here.
Nope.
So, you got out of the Coast Guard.
Nope, so I got out and stuck with the food thing. Worked some delis. Like I said, was taking some classes down in the city at the Culinary College in Baltimore. Had worked some of the private schools, running their cafeterias for them. And I just kind of got burned out with it, with the whole food thing.
Oh, you were the guy that gave us, mystery meat.
Yeah. Not at the private schools, John. But I got burned out with the food and the early mornings and all that. So just looked for something else to do, and I ended up working with a distribution company for a number of years. I did a little time with my buddy's mortgage company. I hated every second of that. That kind of sales is just not my thing.
The corporate thing?
Oh, yeah. So I just got tired of working for, like you just said, corporate. And I said, man, what else could I do? And I'm sitting at my desk one day, and I'm on the internet just looking for... And I came across hot dog carts, the food truck industry.
Okay.
So I called my wife and I said, hey, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy a hot dog cart.
She said, let me get my divorce lawyer.
She hung up the phone. And then I discussed it when I got home that evening. And she said, look, if that's what you want to do, if you think you can make it work, go for it. And that's what I did. I bought a hot dog cart and I ran that for 3 years.
That's a brilliant way to get into it.
Yeah.
Because, what is your... obviously it's an investment, but it's not like you're dumping your kid's college tuition out on a hot dog cart.
No, I got up and rolling for $1,500. Took some tax money that we got back, and I said, I got this cart that I want to buy. Talked to the guy. He's showing me the ropes of running a cart and how to do it successfully. And
keep your thumb off the hot dog.
There you go. And the big picture was to hopefully one day get a shop, a brick and mortar.
Okay.
And that was the goal.
Okay. Now, where was your hot dog cart?
I used to set up over in the west side of Pasadena, near on Fort Small Road, near the Under Armour Distribution Center. I used to set up back there, and it was a good gig. I had all the Under Armour employees would come out, the delivery guys. Yeah, I would set up from 10 to 4 o'clock.
There was a guy in Edgewater that used to do that, an older guy. That, and I'm not sure whether he's passed away, but he was a very old guy. It was his retirement. It was like, I got to get out of the house. Either I'm going to kill my wife or she's going to kill me, and that's what he had he had a van and he did it all out of the back of a van.
Yeah, and I had a pull behind. It wasn't like a food truck that you see now. It was just a little pull behind trailer. I would hook it up to my Cherokee, go set up. I miss it actually.
Yeah,
it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Well, how do we get down to Dock Street?
I was looking. It was getting to the point where, okay, I've been doing the cart for 3 years. I got to start looking for a commercial storefront. And I was looking in Baltimore City. There was a couple locations, and then one was in Canton Square. I forget where the other one was. And then my mom called me and said, hey, look, I was looking through the newspaper, and there was a listing for downtown Annapolis going up for rent. It was actually where Sophie's Crepes is now.
Okay.
And so I said, man, downtown Annapolis, that would be perfect. It's beautiful, I don't have to worry about the whole crime issue that you have up in Baltimore.
Right.
Went down and actually spoke with Storm, famed Storm.
Right.
He used to handle the Campbell's properties down here for him.
Oh. Okay.
And he was actually showing people the Sophie's location. And I came in, I said, hey. He goes, oh, man, sorry, we just rented it 15 minutes ago. Obviously, Sophie's got it. But he said, look, we're going to list another location right around the corner. Do you want to go look at it? Came up here. I said, yeah, I can make this work. And that was it.
Well, you are right in probably the center of Dock Street.
Yeah.
Just before you get to, what's this little, Craig Street? Is it this little
Yeah.
alley is?
Yeah.
So you're between Randall and Craig Street.
Yep.
With the blue and white striped awning out front. And, I mean, what was here before, do you know?
It was a lot of things. Before me, it was the Ninja Cafe, little sushi shop.
Remember that.
Yeah, that's what before I was. I'm not sure how long he was here. It's been it was a smoothie shop. It was a Green Iguana, a little hippie store.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember those?
Yeah.
It was a Wetzel's Pretzel.
Okay.
It was a little antique shop. Originally, it was a Coast Guard rescue station. They had the rescue station upstairs.
A little bit of kismet for
there
you.
There you go. And they kept the boat right here where this was a garage originally.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you never noticed, we're kind of on a little slope in there.
Right. Yeah. Actually, no, I'm looking at your curbs here. They do.
This
They
is
actually
the driveway.
come down here. Well, you've got your low curbs. I know that you fight flooding all the time, as does everybody here on Dock Street.
Yep.
And I mean, I think as I look at your floor and what you've got in your store, I mean, you're probably the most. Obviously it's horrible to have to deal with it, but you're probably the most prepared for it because I mean you're a tile floor and it's it's a huge inconvenience.
Yeah, it is.
How are you dealing with that? And what's the city doing for you?
It was when we first got down here 10 years ago. We had no idea the flooding situation. It's just one of those things I didn't think to look into. Going into business,
right.
I'm like, do you guys flood 3 times a month? I never thought to ask anybody that. But it was just, I couldn't believe the attitude towards it, where it was just like, whatever. It is what it is. That's business on Dock Street. We just deal with it. And I was always kind of like, why? There's got to be something you can do to. Hell, I've been asking somebody to raise the curb out front here for me for years, and everyone just kind of shrugged their shoulders and was like, no, can't do that for you. Sorry, just sandbags. Here's some sandbags for you. And after a while, they stopped giving us sandbags. They've since put in, for lack of a better term, sump pumps into the parking lot out here, and it's worked quite well. We've only had, it's been, I think, a couple months since they've done that, 2-3 months maybe. We've only had one real day of flooding.
And
since then.
You are 100 feet from the water's edge.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've got to assume that at some point in time, there's going to be some flooding.
Yeah.
I mean, Hurricane Isabel, when he came through, okay, expect it. I mean, the hurricane may not have been, but I mean, you would expect it during situations like that.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Several times a month, that's just kind of crazy because it's got to hurt your business.
Right.
So now we're here. What's Pips?
Pips is my daughter's nickname, Madeline.
Does she still go by that?
Yeah, we all call her. Her friends don't call her Pips. She's too cool for that now. She's 15. But from the time she was a baby, her grandmother, maternal grandmother, called her Pipper. She would just, you're just such a cute little Pipper. I don't know where she got the term, but since then we've been calling her Pip.
That's cool.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people think it's got something to do with Pip Moyer. Mm-hmm. And funny story, I actually had one lady come in one time after we've been open 4 or 5 years, and she said, hey, I just got to ask you something. She said, does this have anything to do with Pip Moyer? And I said, no, it's my daughter's nickname, blah, blah. She goes, oh, okay. She goes, I can tell my husband we can eat here now. I was like, you got to be kidding me. Another thing that opening down here on Dock Street, which I didn't know. I mean, I'd heard of Pip Moyer, but I never.
Right, sure. He's been out of office for a long time. And I probably when you opened the rec center, which bears his name, wasn't a thing.
Yeah, I still have an older woman. She's older, and she still thinks I'm somehow related to Pip Moyer, and she tells me that it's his place, and that's fine.
Right.
If that's the story you want, that's cool.
That's well, it's funny. I know with my kids, they say, "Oh, are you so-and-so's sister? Or are you so-and-so's kid?" or something like that. I said, you really need to ask why they want to know first before you just say yes or no.
Yeah.
Is this related to Pip Meyer? Why?
Yeah.
Why? I love the guy. Absolutely.
Go? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so simple menu here. You don't have a whole lot. And tell you, the first time that we actually connected was when you were bitching and moaning that somebody in Severna Park won the What's Up magazine's best cheesesteak in the area.
Not in the area. For Annapolis.
Right. Okay.
It was Annapolis's best cheesesteak.
Right. And I was like, but dude, you're a hot dog stand. Shut the hell up.
I get it. I hear you.
And you came back
the exact
to me.
reason I don't do crab cakes, which everybody comes in like, you should sell a crab cake. No, that's not what I do.
You came back to me and you said, no, we do cheesesteaks and I'll put it up against anyone. I said,
put it up against anybody's.
I've been in there. I know the menu. I said, where is it? And it was in the center of your menu at one point, and it was like not. Maybe at some point it was a focal point, but for me it wasn't because I think I'm going into a hot dog place. Yeah. And I'm looking, and so I tried it, and I remember we went back and forth, and I said, man, it was a damn good cheesesteak.
Yeah. I think we've improved over it. On it over the years.
Without a doubt, the bread and the cheese and just everything else. But it was funny. I mean, I had no idea that you did cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
I do still dispute the fact that you put chicken and things and call it a cheesesteak.
We because of you, I don't call it a chicken cheesesteak anymore. Now it's called a chopped chicken.
Chopped chicken sandwich. Yep. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Here's what happened. When we first opened, it was just going to be strictly hot dogs and some different kinds of sausages. Mm-hmm. Had I stayed with that, strictly dogs and sausages, we wouldn't have made it 2 years. We had so many people coming in saying, oh, okay, yeah, well, do you have a burger or do you have a cheesesteak? Do you have anything?
So you do burgers.
So I said, you know what, let me just try it. You know, I didn't want to expand, you know, my thing was hot dogs. That's what I wanted it to be. So reluctantly I added some things, and the burgers have taken off like crazy, and the cheesesteaks, people love the cheesesteaks.
You know, I will,
especially the mids.
I will tell you, it's funny. A friend of mine in Eastport has a whole bunch of mids that she sponsors, and a couple weeks ago she was looking for the best French fries in town.
Yeah.
And people were giving all sorts of recommendations and everything else. I said, man, you know who's got the spot-on fries is Pips, and you do.
Thank you.
And I don't know what you do with them, but
clean oil.
You run a close first or second with the Annapolis bowling alley.
All right.
Two very bizarre places that you would never put on the top of the list for French fries, but they're both spot on. I mean, you've got the you don't have the steak fries. You've got the ones that are sort of in between the like.
It's a natural cut.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't cut them, but it's a frozen natural cut French fry.
But they're damn good.
Yeah, they are good, and a lot. I've actually did where we attempted to do a natural cut. I don't have the room for it. We're very small here. I've got maybe 280 square feet. And it was a huge pain in the... Can I say ass?
Yeah.
Huge pain in the ass to have the big bags of potatoes laying around and the chop. And it was just... And we try to do everything to order. So everything's hot. It's fresh. I think that's a big reason that people, enjoy the food. It's we make it right there in front of you. Nothing's laying around.
Well, it is. I mean, there have been times when I've come down here to talk to you or something like that, and they're like, oh, yeah, he's out getting food.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's not.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of storage space.
This hot dog's not been sitting in the, in a refrigerator for a week and a half, just waiting to get cooked.
No, every other day. Every other day I'm restocking.
Well, I'll tell you also, your portions, I mean, hot dogs are hot dogs, but I mean, the portions are big. I mean, one thing I've often said is, I mean, when I come in here and I get French fries, I'm like, oh, make it just real light. You should really cut down the size. You should offer a small size, because if you are a French fry fan...
You can come in and just ask for a half size. We do have that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the portions are big. The hot dogs are good. They're fresh. You've got the beef hot dogs. You've got the pork hot dogs. What's the top seller here?
The Coney Island dog.
What's a Coney Island dog?
It's got our... we use a natural casing all beef hot dog. We grill them. We put it on a steam bun. And then the Coney Island we top with mustard, our homemade chili, and diced onion.
Okay. What's your favorite?
Mine is a chili cheese dog with jalapenos.
Okay. A little bit of spice.
Yep.
I do like your Tijuana dog.
There you go.
Again, with the spice there, that's what I get when I go for the hot dog. Or sometimes I'll go with the sausage sandwich with some peppers and onions. More often than not, I'll go with the cheesesteak, though.
Yeah.
And I tend to go fairly pure on cheesesteaks. That's how
that's
how I judge a place. I mean, it's like, okay, somebody I talked to about beer, they said, if they can't do a lager beer, if you go to a craft brewery and they can't do a lager, right? Yeah. There's no sense in trying anything else.
Yeah, I hear you.
So it's It's really good. Now, 10 years, I mean, what are you looking to do beyond here? Anything? Do you have ideas of growth? I mean, whether it be in the menu or...
I'm going to leave the menu the way it is. Over 10 years, we've expanded it. We've brought it, reeled it back in a little bit, just going back to the basics. I like the way it is now, where we're just doing dogs, a Polish sausage, a spicy sausage, burgers and cheesesteaks.
What's
fries
the
and
difference in
onion
Polish and
rings.
spicy sausage? Polish is just the mild?
Like kielbasa.
Okay.
It's got a smoky flavor to it. As far as expansion, I got my eyes out, but it's got to be, for what we do, we got to move a lot of product to make $1. Mm-hmm. And it's got to be the right location. It's got to have foot traffic. It's got to be accessible, So I'm not pressed on getting another place up and running. Like, it's got to happen. I like having my freedom also.
Yeah.
And if you talk to a lot of small business owners, it's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. So
well, it does, and that's something that I've learned being a small business owner myself, as well as talking to several of them. I mean, This is not a, you say, oh yeah, we got to get out of the 9 to 5 corporate thing. You're eliminating the corporate thing, but boy, 9 to 5, that's a misnomer.
Oh yeah.
And you may only be open 11 to
11 to 4 during the week, and 11 to 6 on the weekends.
But
that works for us.
There's an awful lot that goes into behind the scenes.
Oh yeah.
That you've got to do. So I mean, it's not just a matter of. It's like all those people that say, "Oh yeah, teachers, what an easy job, man. They only work 9 months out of the year."
Right. Yeah, I know.
So they do bust their ass, and certainly small businesses do here.
Yeah.
What do you think about like downtown Annapolis? I mean, how's the business? I mean, how's the temperature of like business just downtown here in the heart of downtown Annapolis?
Oh man, where do we start? First of all, I love being down here. It's clean, safe. It's got a nice community feel to it. Yeah, I mean, the people that I've met over the years, I love it. I wouldn't want to work, anywhere else. It's nice to. I walk out the front door and you look at downtown, and that's my office.
I'm sitting here at the table outside at Pips right now looking, and I see the roof line of a couple of the buildings behind the Market House, but predominantly it's dominated by the State House Dome.
Yeah.
So it's a spectacular location.
It's beautiful. As far as how business goes down here, very seasonal. Mm-hmm. A lot of people think that the summer would be our peak time. We actually dip in the summer. We're busiest in spring and fall.
Why is that?
I think just it's so damn hot and humid during the week.
People want to get inside.
They're trying to get in somewhere and sit down in the air conditioning. We don't have that option. And then springtime, everybody's got cabin fever. The weather's starting to break, starting to get nicer, so everybody's out on the streets. Same thing with the fall. That humidity breaks, starts cooling off. Everybody wants to be outside.
Yeah.
That's when,
that makes sense.
And in the fall, we got all the midshipmen are back. During the summer, the academy is basically empty.
Right.
Football.
Now, are the mids good customers?
Oh
for
yeah,
you? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I wish they were allowed out more often during the week. God, what a difference that would make. Because during the week, we used to have a second shift where the second shift would come in at 3 and we'd close up at
7, 8
o'clock.
Yeah.
During the week, the business just isn't there for us. And I did it for years just because, and I wasn't making enough to cover the 2 kids standing there.
That's one thing that I'll admire. I mean, you found out where the business was, and that's what you adjusted here. And unfortunately, there's a lot of businesses that don't do that. I mean, I've often suggested that Main Street, one night a week or so, should stay open late.
Yeah.
And you look at the success of Midnight Madnesses and stuff like that. But I've talked to a number of businesses that say, oh, no, we tried that, and it just doesn't work. Well, when did you try that? Well, back in the 70s. I'm like, well, things have changed.
Yeah, we did it for 7 years, and then after looking at the numbers for 7 years, I'm like, this is what it's telling me. We're not making any money from 3 o'clock to closing. And there's no business. And typically it was teenagers working here on the second shift and closing up. Mm-hmm. Well, what happens with teenagers when they don't have anything to do?
Right.
You can only clean so often, so much.
Right.
Once that's done, they goof off. They get in trouble. Their friends come down, hang out. It didn't work. So I said, the hell with it. We're going to close after lunch during the week, and that's 4 o'clock.
Right.
I figured out where we make the money, and that's what we want.
And that's where you focus on. That makes all the perfect sense in the world. I want to talk about your standby dogs.
Yes.
And I know that's a program that you started, and it took a little bit of a hiatus, and it's back again, and I think that's a great thing. What is the deal with that?
Standby dog started when somebody wrote into the Capitol and complained about a hot dog eating contest that we used to do. And if there's not,
if there's nothing else, somebody in Annapolis will find something to bitch about something.
She was upset that, people were, just
Gluttons?
gorging, on, 13 hot dogs and trying to set a new record. And she was a little concerned with. All right. We'll see. I got to 5.5 and I quit. So that's in half an hour. But in a nutshell, she was concerned that, hey, you know what? Instead of doing something like that, maybe you guys should be helping out some of our less fortunate, some of the local homeless, things like that. She didn't know that we've been doing that since day one. If any of the local homeless came in and say, hey man, can you help me out with a little lunch? Of course, here's a hot dog for you, a cup of water, whatever, it's fine.
Right.
And then,
what's that to you? Nothing. Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not feeding a population. You're you're helping a guy out, and that's awesome.
Yeah. So, anyways, going back to that letter, I posted on Facebook, and I say, listen, I said, addressing the lady who wrote in complaining, I said, this is what it is. It's a fun thing. Oh, by the way, we do kind of help people out anyways if they ask. And then somebody in the comments, but hey, have you ever heard of the Give a Slice thing they do up in? Yeah. And I had no idea what it was, and they said, people can come in, they buy a slice of pizza, and if somebody comes in and needs some lunch, then they give that slice of pizza to somebody else. And I said, we could do something like that. So we started a thing where you can purchase a little coupon, if you will, or a certificate. It's $3. We stick it on the wall, and anytime somebody's, down their luck or homeless or whatever, they can come in, take that coupon off the wall, and we give them a hot dog.
So that's a voucher for a hot dog hanging on the wall.
And if they start building up on the wall for whatever reason and nobody's using them, after a while we'll take them down, tally them up, $3 times whatever, and we'll write a check to the Lighthouse Foundation.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So as you accumulate, if they're not used or if there's a surplus, then it goes.
Yeah, once the wall starts filling up, we'll take them down, like I said, and then add it all up. The percent of the check could be $30, it could be $100, whatever.
That's great. I'll tell you, one of the best tips I can give anybody that's listening here is that if you ever come down here on Dock Street and you see a line out the door to Pips, and it's not that the line is that long, it's just that the store is not that big.
It's not that big. It looks like a long. I wish the lines were longer.
It looks a little bit more dominating than it is, but don't pass up that line, even if it is a little bit longer than you think, because it's definitely worth it. Whether you like a cheesesteak, I've never had your burgers, but the hot dogs are
we make them fresh
good.
Every morning.
You got the cows grazing right in the field next door.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah.
They've got a whole menu of mustards and toppings that can go on that.
Yep.
They special orders don't upset them. You turn around and take a look at their Facebook page, and I wish there was a better way for me to find when you have these specials, because you post these, hey, we did this great. And I'm like, oh damn, that looks good. Yeah. And you're like, oh yeah, that was today. It was lunch today. I'm like, oh man, I want it for lunch tomorrow.
Yeah.
But keep your eye out for the specials that you do, because you bring your culinary chops in here, and you do experiment with some stuff.
Yeah, we do. We do sometimes.
And sometimes
it works, sometimes it doesn't. So.
And there's a lot of things a lot of food combinations that have come out in the last 15 years that I never ever would have thought that I would have even considered trying that I have. Yeah. And it's great. But Ryan Lamy, for 10 years at the occasionally flooded Pips Dock Street Dogs. Certainly congratulations on that.
Thank you.
And I think that anybody that's listening, you need to get down here to Dock Street. It's the fall now that we're talking. It's a perfect time to come out and get a dog.
Yep.
The Coney Island is the most popular.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Tijuana, which has a little bit more spice to it.
Yep.
And I will say that you also do a really good job of hiring people. You've had
for the most part.
You've had a number of people throughout the years.
Yeah.
Not a huge turnover in the summer. I mean, you get that I'm going to say that third wheel.
Yeah.
Okay. But you generally have you and somebody else.
Yeah.
That's sort of like the manager type position.
Yeah.
And
I've been pretty lucky with that.
Always really pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think that friendly. You get to know your customers.
Yeah.
You laugh with them.
Something with a business this small, I always stress customer service, how important it is. I can't afford to upset somebody, or disappoint somebody, because what's the first thing people do now?
Sure, you're going to tell 100 people
They're
about it.
going to tell 100 people, and those 100 people are going to tell 200, and that's just the way it goes. So, but we try though. I mean, I want you to come in and look at the food and go, oh my God, that looks amazing. And then go, it tastes even better.
And it does. You succeeded.
Thank you.
Congratulations on 10 years.
Thank you
Here's
very
to
much.
another 10 more after
Let's
this.
hope.
And let's everybody get on down to Pip's Dock Street Dogs and get a dog. Hey, and if you're there, leave a comment or send us an email of what your favorite is. You can do that at info@ionannapolis.net. And just take sort of an impromptu survey, see what everybody's favorite is.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Hey,
right.
Ryan Lamy, thank you very much. And what's the address here?
118 Dock Street.
118 Dock Street.
Yeah.
Can't miss it. Sort of a blue and white storefront. Pip's Dock Street Dogs.
You got it.
Thanks for listening to this special podcast for Ion Annapolis. Please be sure to visit ionannapolis.net for all your local news, events, and opinions. And in case you haven't already, please subscribe to the Ion Annapolis Daily News Brief, where we bring you your local news direct to your phone or tablet every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. Subscribe on iTunes or Google Play.